The team at Balanz has a strong background in banking. All of us have worked in banking throughout our careers across a number of the major banks. Dealing with banks has become more complex. Relationship managers change, banks change their attitudes and their risk appetite. Our customers need people on their side to help them get the best outcomes and to ensure that they have a competitive package put to them. The sectors that we're involved in are basically the ones that we've had experience with throughout our careers. That covers business banking, corporate finance, property development, property investment and trade finance.
Balanz team members are all passionate. We're passionate about two things. Passionate about the fact that we believe banking as a profession is 100% correlated to the success of its clients, and passionate about our clients. We've all, at various levels, either ourselves or with our partners, been involved in businesses. We understand the risks and rewards of that and the efforts that are involved in making a business successful. I guess from that experience, both the banking capability as well as the understanding of business, we have immense empathy for our clients. That empathy extends to doing things properly. We understand completely that a bank is 100% correlated. A client has to lose everything before the bank loses a cent, and so in everything we do, it's all about maximising the client's opportunity to get on and create wealth, whilst at the same time ensuring that the bank is protected, because if the bank's protected, our clients are protected. We want our clients to be successful. We want them to make money for themselves and for their children and their children's children, because we understand that's what they're creating. It's a passion that creates a business which creates wealth, which is then passed on to generations, and that's what we're enabling by being involved. I think we're a small part of our client's success, but if we do our job well, then our client can get on with doing what they do well. And when it works well, which it does in the majority of cases, the clients are successful, and we're very privileged to be part of their journey. The clients' businesses are usually relatively complex. There's lots of moving parts to what they do. There's also a lot of detail to what they do. I think it's up to us to filter that detail to what is important to the bank, to the banker that we're talking to, and to the credit manager that they're working with. And for that reason, it's a lot of time spent understanding the true drivers of the business so that we can accurately represent the value in the business and the sustainability, particularly of the cash flows and the likelihood of achieving forward forecasts. But similarly, on the other side, ensuring that the client's financials, their balance sheet, their position that's being represented to the bank are bankable. And if things aren't completely correct at a point of time on either side, we need to spend time with the relevant parties to make things correct. It's not a one-shot game in terms of getting the right banking partner, but it's pretty close to that. I think the time invested up front is critical to the success of the transaction and critical to the success of the long-term banking relationship. If we can get things done correctly and presented correctly to the right person at the right time, then the chances of success and having the right banking package for our client are much, much higher.
So what we do very well, I believe, is we look at the customer's business and we actually bridge the gap, because there is a natural gap between what the banks understand the business to be and what the client understands the bank to be. And I think there's a real need for bridging that gap in terms of provision of information, but also translation of that information into a language that the bank understands. So coming back to, I guess, to the corporate advisory side of Balanz, we specialise really in the interim CFO component, as I said before, where we act as a virtual or part-time CFO for the client. And in doing so, I see it almost as a cycle. So we start with the management reporting side, the cash flow management side, the budgeting side, and then that leads into, we have a lot of growing companies on our books. and they do acquisitions, for example, so we can help with the whole acquisition process. So we can be the lead advisor. We can also limit our scope to the due diligence. So, but in essence, we are very actively involved in an acquisition process. And then I guess from there, the business grows to a point where either a CFO is required, or the business is in a position where it needs a board of directors. And in some cases, we also can act as advisors to the board, or we can become a non-executive director. So I see it as a full circle, and ultimately it might end in a succession planning exercise whereby the owners want to exit, or where they want to retire and there's no succession within the family.
There is always a missing link when it comes to finance for commercial transactions between the local financiers and the Asian clients. Balanz will ensure that when we deliver a transaction to the financiers, and that is 100% accurately delivered to the bank, the financiers, and more importantly, the financiers fully understood the transaction in and out, and which is backed by our understanding of the culture piece in the transaction.
Part of what makes Balanz unique in this environment is that you have a group of finance professionals, people who have cut their teeth, as it were, in corporate banking, retail banking environment, agribusiness, business more broadly. They not only understand the way money works, but they also understand the way business works, because they've had that entrepreneurial experience themselves. They've built businesses. They understand what keeps people up at night. They understand the changes in the regulatory, in the economy, in key people. All these things impact on the success of business and how sustainable it is. So at Balanz, you've got a group of people who can put together not just a funding package, but also the advice to help grow and sustain and take your business to the next level. That, I think, is a big part of what makes Balanz different to the wider finance and advisory community.